able to get something like 12 to possibly laps out. On to fourth place at the wheel of a yellow MGB, but look in his mirrors, he's got a car right the way there behind him as they come over the start-finish line, and that car that he's looking to try and attack and steal his way through is going to be number 91, which is Mark Home. So TBR from TBR, Triumph from then two MGBs, and then we get the Morgan thereafter, which is going to be David Wenman's car. As for Rob Compton, yes, it was a good start from him, so up to 8th position at the end of that lap, so from 12th up to 8th place for the little Elva Courier. It was a good lap from him. It was also a very good lap for the car of Mark Turner as well, that was lost in Healy Sprite, because Mark had qualified 19th and he's up to 15th by the end of that lap. And also off the back of the grid almost, Andrew Giles qualified 26th, he's up to 21st, so he's had a good first lap as well, so places being gained by some. Who's the biggest loser on that first lap in terms of positions lost? Well, it is going to be number 74 that has lost 3 places, I'm afraid, Barry Holmes, and also losing 3 places is Mike Lillywhite, 73 on that first lap of the race. So those are the drivers that have lost more places relative to their starting positions. Up towards the Hamilton becomes our race leader. Mark Ashwood still managing to just keep the Atkins at bay. Present danger now is Alan Ross Jones at the wheel of the Triumph TR4, beginning to just closing a bit more on the TBRs. Of course, the TBRs maybe have a little bit of better handling. They'll certainly be later on the brakes, the Grand Tourers, than the TR, but in a straight line, Alan Ross Jones should, you would have thought, have the power to close in on the TBRs, and indeed it looks as though he's doing so. Yeah, the extra power of the TR4 tells as they head down to the bottom section of the Bentley Straight. Alan Ross Jones was starting to queue up a move over the Atkins. Lee Atkins throws it on the inside of Mark Ashwood at Ritchie's corner for the lead of the race and goes through. Through goes Lee Atkins. He grabs the lead of the weight race. Mark Ashwood back down into 2nd position and still 3rd, but with the fastest lap of the race on the first of the flying laps is Alan Ross Jones at the wheel of the TR. And then it's Mark Home, number 91 in 4th place. Tim Greenhill in 5th position, completing the top 6 at the moment is the Morgan, which is David Wenman, who completes the top 6, will pick up on the class leaders once the squabble for the lead just settled down a little bit, because that squabble for the lead of the race is still as close as it's been. Still, the trio, 1st, 2nd and 3rd, Lee Atkins, Mark Ashworth and Alan Ross Jones are all within a few car lengths of each other as they head towards the braking area at Agostini on what is now lap number 3. Accelerating their way out of the corner. Just got to try and keep an eye on Mark Home as well, who's there in 4th position, because if the top 3 start to squabble, wouldn't rule out the fact that Mark Home might be able to close in. He was a couple of seconds adrift, just over, when they started this particular lap, but I'm not sure of the amount of daylight. Yeah, might be closing a little bit, I think. So it's 3 for the lead at the moment. Mark Home pushing hard to try and make it 4. Tim Greenhill thereafter. Then we've got the Morgan of David Wenman in 6th place. 7th place is Alan Ross. Rob Compton's Elva Courier is there in 8th place. 9th place is going to be Ed Foster's MGB. So the top 10 at the moment is number 6 car, and that will be the car of Neil Fisher, his MGB, the light blue car. Place now is MGB. So TDR, Triumph TR4, MGB, Morgan, MGB, Elmer Courier, and then 2 MGBs. I think that's the top 10 at the moment. Up towards Palmer for the 4th time goes Lee Atkins. Increased his lead advantage by almost a second last time through, having taken the lead of the race and then pulling away from Mark Ashworth, because of course he took the lead up at Richie's corner where he went round the outside, and now the end of the lap where he took the lead, he is 0.674 of a second ahead. Mark Ashworth in second place, looking as though not only is he falling away from the race leader, but dropping ever more into the clutches of Alan Ross Jones, who sits behind, and the Triumph is now within touching distance. He's not going to do anything, I don't think, Alan Ross Jones in towards bringing out for Oggies, but he might have a little nibble, you know, as they head down the Bentley Straight this time through, because of course the TR will have a little bit of extra speed compared to the TVRs, and he's trying to hunt down. Josh? No. So down Bentley Straight they will thread their way, and yeah, here comes Alan Ross Jones. He's now firmly in the slipstream of Mark Ashworth, and he's going to jink out from behind to alongside just as they disappear frustratingly out of my view. So he was just queuing up the move in towards the braking area for Russell and and in a straight line, Alan Ross Jones has more power. Lee Atkins got his hand out though, I'm afraid. It was leading the race, but counting them on for Lee Atkins. Such a shame for Lee Atkins, who finished runner-up in the race that we had at Brantack. Brantack in third place, second in the second of these races. Not terribly wrong for him, I'm afraid. Lee Atkins also retired at Donington in one of the races that we had there, so it's been a difficult start to the season really for Lee Atkins. Not sure whether the car will make it back round to the pit lane, and then we might be able to establish from Josh what the problem is, or if it's that bad he'll have to retire it out on track, I'm afraid.
I don't think I've seen him lead a race before, not the races I've covered, so it was good to see how well he went at Brantack and how well he was going here until that drama.
Whereas at Brands he was right up there all of the time and never looked as though the car really missed a beat. Not sure what the problem was for him, but we've now got Alan Ross Jones into the lead of the race.
Again, I don't think we've seen him that far up the order before either.
No, I haven't. No, Alan Ross Jones. I don't think we saw Alan out at Brands Hatch, if memory serves me correctly. He was racing other things. He was racing his. I'm trying to think now, his Lotus Cortina with Mark Hales, ex-British Touring Car star Mark Hales, I think that weekend, and he'd also got something else to enjoy as well, maybe a Lola T70 or something.
Not bad, is it?
Yeah, difficult. First world problems and all that. So yeah, it's nice to see him out at the wheel of this beautifully prepared Triumph TR4. So Triumph leads, it's now going to be TVR in second place, and then and I'm just wondering Triumph leads, TVR second, MG third. It is a Morgan that's there in fourth position. Fifth place is going to be another Morgan, I'm afraid. That'll be Ballard Parkin. Fifth place, Tim Green, and in sixth place, sorry, another MGB, Ballard Parkin. place leads class 3. Mark Home in third place leads class 6. Rob Compton in the Elva Courier leads class 2 at this stage. Class 5 leader is Paul Mortimer at the wheel of his Austin Healey 100. That's car number 450. And then if we look towards the leader of class 1, it's Brian Small, former Westfield racer many years ago. Brian Small, the Ashley Richard leads class 1. And I think that's your class leaders at this stage that are out there. We've had 5 laps now completed, 16.5 minutes just under of the race to go. And the race leader will be very shortly heading down in towards the bottom section of the circuit on lap number 6. And is looking to try and see whether he can fend off the aspirations of Mark Ashwood, who, despite losing the lead of the race, still together as they came through Brundle and Nelson. Well, when I say together, that's 35 cars. Still losing out to the tune of another 0.4 of a second compared to the TVR ahead. The top 3, top 4 all lapping quicker than they previously done. So Alanos 23.7 is the best of the race. 23.6 for Mark Ashford, which is pretty good. And in 4th place, Lee Morgan of what is David Wedman. Also pops in his best lap of the race so far, 2 minutes 25.8, so top 4 all going quicker than they previously got. That is still wrapping up the top 6 at this stage. Now that lap was a slightly slower one, not that much slower than he's previously done, but what is happening at the moment is he's starting to get a car falling up behind Rob Compton and El Courier that will start to pull that together and the pressure much longer. Where are the pair of them? They will be just turning their way through Agostini now. Yeah, there we go. So there is Tim Greenhill, the red and sort of cream Elva Courier sitting behind. And then not that far behind that is going to be the next of the cars as well, which is going to be, I think, number 6, yeah, which will be Neil Fisher's MGB. So the light blue car, who's that? Paused briefly on that because Neil Fisher wasn't on the timing screen because his transponder isn't working, I'm afraid. So we have to slot him in manually. This race, the gap is just 0.7 of a second still between himself and Mark Charging. Mark Ashwood. Just close that gap up. So the gap actually, probably you'll note to the naked eye, the gap first and second has just come down a shade. Mark Home in 3rd place also goes quicker than he's previously gone, but he still loses 2 seconds to the pair ahead. And then that's more than when the sure what happened to Rob Compton on that lap, because last time I picked up on it he was mounting a challenge to try and gain places. He's come through, no longer in 7th. A load more work Rob Compton. He started in 12th, worked his way up to 7th. He's now back down to 10th again, I'm afraid.
Down. I was just wondering, almost close to Rob Compton.
Well, they were fighting for position, weren't they?
Okay, well, the front looks clean. The back looks clean. Don't know about the left-hand side. Can't see that. But,
right.
I think the car's heading straight to the paddock. So not unless he just had a problem, and maybe Rob Compton had to take a avoiding action and ended up losing time himself.
Yeah, we will never know, I'm afraid, because all I'm going to see is he then heads back to his relative position. So, yeah, it does make you wonder, Josh, as to what happened, but yeah, the two of them were fighting for position. Tim Greenhill was under pressure with tyres that one lose his time. Read into that as you will, you'll never know. So, which is 11 minutes, particularly in this race, still remaining. Yards losing large in his mirrors. On this lap, yards losing larger. And less so now Mark Hope, who's still there in third place, but has dropped away to the tune of another 0.4 of a second. So gap second to third is now to 2.2 seconds. The squabble at front has always been in clean air. Well, they're going to have traffic still much longer. Drivers are racing for a period of time. Will always or of course the 3-hour relay that they had, then overtaking is always going to be a factor. So for the race lead up towards now really, I think discount Mark Hope for the moment, not for the whole race, but just for the moment. He's dropped away too far to be a danger really to the leading pair, unless of course they threw those time. What a blessing to find just heading out of Agostini, and that's the second of the Triumph TR4s. That is Nick Mountford, who has got some right at the time. Harry Wilmot said it's really uncalled. Yes, it is. Yes, we've got quite rude. That's Nick Mountford, number 44, from the pressure from 107. Thereafter, and then Paul Morton in 11th has got behind him that. Is going to be Colin Kingsnor's qualified in 11th. Well, back on the lead of the race over the start finish time now going again today. Mark Ashford is going to challenge for the lead of the race. That lap is the best lap of the race that we've seen so far. Fastest lap for Mark Ashford. Picks up the fastest lap of the race and is within a quarter of a second of the race leader, and they're having to work their way through some traffic as well. Stonker straight down in towards Palmer. Mark Ashworth also works his way past the traffic, so no time lost for either pair of them, which means that they are still pretty much together as they head down past the Tyrrells and in towards the braking area for the left-hander and Hamilton, so it'll be towards the end of the lap when they will meet the next little bit of traffic that we'll need dealing with. 7 minutes to go. 9 laps completed. I said we would probably get 12 to 14 out of this one. Well, at the moment we are lapping around 2.5 laps just under. So we should get another 1, 2, we should get another 3 laps including the one that we're on. So we'll certainly be at 12 laps, possibly 13, depending on how the next few go, and in particular how much time they gain on the traffic. Williams down the middle straight, go to the 10. Nelson. He's just deceiving me on the screen. It just looked as though he was perhaps just over the drive in the car mid-corner, which just gives for a pace here. Gap first and second, not a great deal at all. Start of the next lap that they need to just back had a quick David Harley the Ellsworth TVs that were not popular than Team Green Hill spun at Rundle and Nelson. Right, thank you very much for that. So that'll be something that we can't see in the next time.